September 17, 1944. The morning fog hung thick over the Ardennes forest, muffling the distant rumble of artillery and masking the movements of thousands of soldiers hidden within the trees. Private Erik Hansen adjusted the straps of his worn helmet, shivering as the chill of early autumn seeped through his uniform. Today he would face a mission that could alter the fate of his unit, or end it entirely. The German forces had struck with terrifying speed, cutting through the forest like a phantom. For weeks Erik's company had navigated treacherous terrain in silence, sleeping in shallow foxholes and relying on whispers for communication. Every soldier knew that a single misstep could mean death. Yet camaraderie and a faint hope of returning home held them together. Erik's diary, tucked safely beneath his jacket, had become both a lifeline and a confidant. Each night he poured his fears, thoughts, and fleeting hopes onto its fragile pages. Today, that diary would witness a story that history might otherwise forget. The target was a German supply depot deep behind enemy lines, reportedly stocked with ammunition, food, and critical communications equipment. Intelligence suggested that capturing or destroying it could save countless lives, but the risks were enormous. Sergeant Miller gathered the strike team in a small clearing, his voice steady yet urgent. "This is not a mission for glory," he said. "It is a mission for survival, and for the lives of those who depend on us. Move swiftly, strike silently, and trust one another." Erik swallowed hard, glancing at the men around him. Faces were tense with determination and fear alike. He thought of his family, his mother, his younger sister, the small town he had left behind. Would he ever see them again? By mid-morning, the unit reached the depot perimeter. Smoke rose faintly from chimneys, and guards patrolled with mechanical precision. Every shadow, every sound could betray them. The team moved silently into position. With careful precision, they neutralized sentries and slipped inside the depot. What they found went beyond supplies. Hidden among crates were documents detailing troop movements, supply lines, and communications. The intelligence could shift the balance of the forest battle, but extracting it would be perilous. Suddenly a shout pierced the tense silence. Reinforcements had arrived. Chaos erupted. Bullets whizzed past, crates splintered under gunfire, and small explosions shook the ground. Erik ducked behind a fallen beam, pulling a wounded comrade with him. His diary had fallen from his jacket. For a moment he stared at its familiar pages, then gritted his teeth and pressed forward. He would survive. He had to. The retreat through the forest was harrowing. The team fought their way past the perimeter, sustaining losses but managing to escape into the dense trees. By dusk the survivors reached relative safety, bruised and exhausted, clutching both the documents and the memory of comrades who would not return. That night, Erik wrote in his diary, "We faced death today and held our ground. Some friends did not return, but their courage will live in every word I write. History may forget this place, this mission, but I will not." September 18, 1944. The forest felt quieter, but danger still lurked. The strike team gathered to assess their losses and plan the next step. Sergeant Miller spoke solemnly. "Tonight we push further. The intelligence must reach headquarters. Without it, all this sacrifice will be in vain." Erik volunteered to carry the documents himself. Each step through the dense forest was perilous. Enemy patrols could appear without warning, he scribbled in his diary. "Fear is constant, but so is resolve. Each man beside me is a story of courage. I pray I am worthy of their trust." As night fell, the team navigated narrow paths, avoiding patrols and setting small traps to slow any pursuit. The forest, once a refuge, now felt like a living labyrinth designed to test their skill and endurance. By dawn, they reached a small clearing where Allied forces had set up a temporary outpost. Relief washed over them, but there was no time to rest. The documents had to reach headquarters by midday. and Erik was tasked with delivering them across treacherous terrain. September 19, 1944. Erik's journey was grueling. Snipers prowled the forest. Patrols cut across known paths, and the terrain tested every ounce of endurance. Each night he recorded his experiences. The cold bites my fingers. Hunger gnaws at my stomach. Yet I press on. I cannot fail. Not when so much depends on these papers. Along the way, he encountered civilians hiding from the fighting. Their faces were hollow with fear and deprivation. Erik shared rations with them, learning the true human cost of war beyond the battlefield. Every moment reinforced the stakes of his mission. On the third night, he was nearly spotted by a German patrol. He flattened himself against the earth, holding his breath as soldiers passed within feet. Adrenaline surged, fear clawed at his mind, but he survived, clutching both the documents and his diary. September 22, 1944. Erik reached Allied headquarters, exhausted and bloodied. Command officers examined the documents, their eyes widening at the crucial information within. Thanks to the strike team, key enemy positions were identified, allowing Allied forces to prepare countermeasures that would save countless lives. Erik rested briefly, then wrote in his diary, "I do not know what awaits me in the days ahead, but today our actions mattered. Today we were more than soldiers, we were witnesses, bearers of truth, and guardians of lives we may never meet. If anyone reads this, remember the men who risked everything for others." Months later, Erik returned to his hometown, forever changed by the horrors and heroism of war. Many of his comrades had fallen, their names etched into memory and diary pages alike. Yet the mission remained largely unknown, overshadowed by larger battles and sweeping campaigns. The diary survived, passed from hand to hand, a testament to courage, fear, and the indomitable human spirit. The story of the forgotten raid endured, a tale of sacrifice, bravery, and the quiet heroism history often overlooks. Erik often revisited the Ardennes in his mind, remembering the forest, the faces of fallen friends, the terror and exhilaration of the mission, and the moments of humanity amidst chaos. Through his words, the voices of the past spoke once more, reminding the living of the cost of war, the power of courage, and the stories that must never be forgotten. Every soldier has a story. Every diary carries a truth. In the silent pages of history, amidst battles recorded and forgotten, the courage of ordinary men shines brightest. Through their words, we are reminded that war is not just strategies and victories. It is a tapestry of human lives, emotions, and choices. Erik Hansen's diary, like so many others, preserves that truth. And through this story, we honor the sacrifices, the fears, and the hope that endured in the shadow of World War II.